So at this point, if you don't know, Puka Nacua, the 5th round pick for the Rams this last year, then you are living under a rock. Puka Nacua has come out, and in result of this system and a little bit of talent, he has put up his historical numbers. I don't think this has ever happened. The former BYU receiver Puka Nacua has put up like crazy numbers and unbelievable stats in just his first 4 starts in the NFL. He's been nuts with Cooper Kupp out of the line. He's kind of taken that wide receiver 1 spot and has been insane. I have simulated up to this point in real life, or I guess I've simulated up to the point in real life in the game, and you know, schedule and stats wouldn't have the same because you just can't do it. Madden's not that good. So Puka in this only has 26 catches for 291 yards and a touchdown. I'll read you his real life stats right now. So Puka, through just 4 games against the Seahawks, Niners, Bengals, and Colts, has 39 catches. 39 catches. All right, that's clinically insane. 39 catches, 501 yards, and just caught his first career touchdown this past week with the Colts. What? He went for 10 catches, 119 yards. Then he went for 15 catches, 147 yards. Stepped it down a little bit. 5 catches, 72 yards that whole time without a touchdown. Comes out this past week against the Colts, goes 9 catches, 163 yards. That's 18 on average with a long of 32 and a touchdown. I don't think, like I said, this has ever happened. A 5th round pick steps up and just takes the role away from Cooper Kupp and is well on pace for crazy numbers. Now, once and if Cooper Kupp comes back, he could see a reduced role, but honestly, I don't know how you could reduce his role. He's been getting open. He's been spectacular. You are 2-2 as a team that was expected to be 0-4 to this point. You have lost to 2 good teams and 1 against 2 meh teams. You know, Seahawks really haven't proven to be as good as they were last year. You can look around. You can make all the excuses for the Rams you want. I thought that they'd actually be decent as long as they had Matthew Stafford under center, and this offense would kind of get rolling. I didn't know they had Kevin Dotson. That is kind of news to me. And then defensively, nothing good at all. I mean, absolutely nothing. Aaron Donald, sure, but he's really not that effective when you have Kobe Turner and Williams. I mean, Ernest Jones is fine. Byron Young's been a huge bright spot as a rookie, and that is Antoine Harrison and Nick Hampton's face scan there from App State. Absolute crazy stuff going on with this Rams team, but we're here for Puka Nacua the rest of his career, and the rest of the time without, you know, Cooper Kupp in the lineup. We'll go to midseason, see how he's doing then. Matt Stafford, 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Rushing, Kyron's been fine. Receiving, Puka Nacua has his stats through 8 or 7 weeks in the game that he does in just 4 games in real life in Madden. So a video game can't even tell you how much he's doing in real life right now. Puka Nacua is absolutely going berserk in the best wide receiver playbook. Ernest Jones doing a good job, and 11.5 sacks from Aaron Donald through the first half of a season is ridiculous. Although the Rams are 3-4, it's not really looking up for them. They are below 500, but can they make the playoffs and kind of squeak their way into maybe a wild card spot? We'll have to see. Rams go 7-10. That finishes second in their division. No playoff spot for him, but Matthew Stafford finished the season pretty well. 4,000 yards, 30 touchdowns, 15 INTs, rushing the ball. Kyron actually could be your future guy, running for 3.6 per, and I don't know why Matthew Stafford's rushing so often. Zach Evans from Ole Miss wasn't actually all that bad either. Receiving, Puka Nacua finishes with nearly 1,400 yards, 11 touchdowns on 115 catches. Absolutely ridiculous stuff, and I'm just here to see Aaron Donald's finishing the season stats with 19.5 sacks, and Byron Young with just 5. So honestly, crazy stuff. Puka's probably in line for Rookie of the Year, Superstar Development, and maybe even Superstar X Factor by even as soon as next season, by preseason even. It's gonna be crazy. Offensive Rookie of the Year goes to Bijan Robinson. Defensive Player of the Year is Aaron Donald. But I mean, how is Puka Nacua nearing 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns? That's double digits. Not getting close to that Offensive Rookie of the Year. That doesn't really make sense to me. We'll go to next season and see where Puka's progression's gone. What development trait, not development trait, and Puka up to Superstar Development, and we'll actually have Cooper Kupp back for this season. But Puka has earned that wide receiver 1 spot in my eyes. Are you kidding? The guy is just too good. Let's put him up in the slot position as well, and Cooper Kupp will have to take the back seat. We're looking for the future. We are doing what's best for this career simulation, and that is putting Puka Nacua in the best spot to develop, put himself forward. Antonio Gibson is now a Ram. I actually really like this fit like a lot. Defensively, what has changed with this team? They brought in Nicholas Morrow to help out Ernest Jones. Byron Young up to star development. CJ Gardner-Johnson is so the place where they were probably the best with John Johnson and Jordan Fuller, they double down on and they go Grant Delpit, CJ Gardner-Johnson. They spend money on Desmond King. Draft a couple of good rookies here on the defensive line. Kobe Turner's developing fine. Bobby Brown not too far behind him. Kobe Turner, the Wake Forest defensive tackle. A lot of similarities to Aaron Donald already on the team. 288, a little undersized, but his ratings are good, and hopefully he can do good in real life because he's one of those guys that I coined coming out of college, and I'd really like to see succeed. High upside, like I mentioned though, a little undersized, and see if he can overcome that adversity. But not what we're here for. We're here for Puka Nacua and what he can do through the course of his career. Went to the midseason of season number 2, where he has superstar development, 80 overall, and a lot better this time around. We'll see what he can do. The focal point of this playbook is that slot wide receiver and wide receiver 1. That is both spots where Puka's playing. What numbers can he put up that are going to be clinically insane? Well, the Rams start off 3 and 4. I'm not going to look over at the right side. If you guys did, that's cool. You could see the receiving leaders. But Matthew Stafford at the midseason point, almost up to 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Rushing, Antonio Gibson doing his best work. Puka Nacua, 32 receptions, ties Cooper Kupp. So Cooper Kupp is still getting a chunk of this offense, put into him. But Puka's averaging 14. That's 3 more yards than, Cooper, obviously. Not quite 3, but like 2.5, somewhere around there. Only 2 touchdowns for Puka. But 452 through the first half of the season with Cooper Kupp behind you is not bad. Leslie Stevens actually leads the team. I don't think I've seen this. A defensive end, especially in a 3-4 system. You don't really see this. Leads the team in tackles and tackles for loss. That is too. Byron Young and Leslie are doing a good job in the sack department, but Aaron Donald continues to lead that group. CJ Gardner-Johnson, Ernest Jones, Sean Johnson, Kevin Graham, all with interceptions. So this Rams team doesn't look all that bad. They can definitely flip it around for the second half. Have a little bit of some potential big play and big players to come up and help them for the second half of the season. One of those being Puka Nacua at this point. Season's over. We finished 5 and 12. Puts them in a good spot for the draft if we're looking at bright spots here. But Matthew Stafford, 3,792 yards. Little step down from last season. Rushing, Antonio Gibson was actually not that great. Puka, not that great. 88 catches, 1,200 yards, 10 touchdowns. Not exactly what we're going for. Maybe have to switch to that that Vikings playbook where Justin Jefferson produces so well in. But other than that, looked good defensively. I'm looking at some of these younger guys and wondering what they did. Leslie Stevens was great. Byron was amazing for what he's been up to. Kobe Turner was also amazing. Quite the defensive line that the Rams have found here, despite being labeled as one of the worst teams, having absolutely nobody in just one season. In my opinion, they've made a lot of positive steps forward, and we could see Puka Nacua be a focal point of this Rams rebuild. After 2 straight seasons of 1,000+ yards, Puka goes straight up to superstar X Factor virtually immediately. Kyron will continue being our running back after taking a year off pretty much, and then we'll have, I believe it's Willie McClendon. It's Warren. I'm sorry, Warren. Point is, Puka Nacua is on his way to being historically great, finishing his first of 2 seasons as a 5th round pick with 1,400 and 1,200 yards. Should be amazing. Cooper Kupp on the other side of him gives him quite a bit of opportunity because they still have to account for another great receiver. We should see this team be pretty good. I'm a big fan of Davis Allen. And other than that, you get an okay offensive line, and defense is looking only better by the day. Aaron Donald retired, gone, done for the rest of this thing. So Stevens obviously coming off a great season. Byron Young continues, or will probably hopefully continue to do that. Kobe Turner and Stevens probably up the middle with Atkinson. Byron Young off the edge. So we've got a few things to look at by the end of the season, but first things first, can't get a little ahead of ourselves here. Let's go to the midseason, see how the team's doing, see how the team's off to. Rookie quarterback under center now to help out Puka and Cooper, and maybe they can do the same for the rookie quarterback. So much for all those wise words for me. 2 and 5 to start the season. Not ideal at all. Jake Ryans, though, 1,500 yards. It's not even his fault. 7 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Good start to the season for a rookie quarterback. Kyron averaging 3.7 per carries. Not bad at all. Receiving, Puka over that 500 mark already. Just 10 more catches than Van Jefferson, and poor Cooper Kupp is getting left in the dust by rookie prodigy. Not rookie anymore. I don't know why that popped in my head, but the former BYU player, I don't know their team. I was going to say Tigers. Definitely hesitate on that because I don't think that's what it is. But if it is, so be it. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling on about random stuff at this point. Team looks good. All things considered, they can definitely be better. Looking at the graph over here, it's over there. The Rams, 15 points a game is atrocious. They need to do better. Offensive passing yards a game is at the 10th spot. So they're doing good in the passing game. But the rushing attack really needs to be better. And the defense overall needs to take that step up. Really be accountable. We'll head to the playoffs and see if they can make those switches and finish the season well. Maybe make a wild card spot, but at this point, it's pretty improbable. Is it improbable or it's improbable, huh? Improbable. Probably not going to happen. And as I mentioned, it didn't happen. Rams finished 2-15. Not good. Jake Rines was bad down the stretch, horrible down the stretch. Rushing, Kyron was still pretty bad. Puka barely squeaking over 1,000 yards, trying to keep that streak out, get that Mike Evans sort of thing started as he started his first 3 years over 1,000 yards. This one cutting it closer than ever so far. And then Leslie Stevens was great, really picking up that Aaron Donald-like mentality, that role. Let me know how I can spice up these career sims, you know, because you go through and you do the same thing season after season. You just chip away at it. Byron Young off the edge. So we've got a few things to look at by the end of the season, but first things first, can't get a little ahead of ourselves here. Just go to the mid-season, see how the team's doing, see how the team's off to. Rookie quarterback under center now to help out Puka and Cooper, and maybe they can do the same for the rookie quarterback. So much for all those wise words for me. 2-5 to start the season. Not ideal at all. Jake Rines, though, 1,500 yards. It's not even his fault. 7 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Good start to the season for a rookie quarterback. Kyron averaging 3.7 per carry is not bad at all. Receiving, Puka over that 500 mark already, just 10 more catches than Van Jefferson, and poor Cooper Kupp is getting left in the dust by rookie prodigy. Not rookie anymore. I don't know why that popped in my head, but the former BYU player, I don't know their teammate. I was gonna say Tigers. Definitely hesitate on that because I don't think that's what it is. But if it is, so be it. I don't know. I'm kind of rambling on about random stuff at this point. Team looks good. All things considered, they can definitely be better. Looking at the graph over here, just over there, the Rams, 15 points a game is atrocious. They need to do better. Offensive passing yards a game is at the 10th spot, so they're doing good in the passing game, but the rushing attack really needs to be better, and the defense overall needs to take that step up, really be accountable. We'll head to the playoffs and see if they can make those switches and finish the season well. Maybe make a wild card spot, but at this point, it's pretty improbable. Is it improbable or it's improbable, huh? Improbable. Probably not going to happen. And as I mentioned, it didn't happen. Rams finished 2-15. Not good. Jake Rines was bad down the stretch, horrible down the stretch. Rushing, Kyron was still pretty bad. Puka barely squeaking over 1,000 yards, trying to keep that streak out, get that Mike Evans sort of thing started as he started his first 3 years over 1,000 yards. This one cutting it closer than ever so far. And then Leslie Stevens was great, really picking up that Aaron Donald-like mentality, that role. Let me know how I can spice up these career sims, you know, because you go through and you do the same thing season after season. You just chip away at it, and it never really seems to be anything new. So let me know if you guys want to see anything in between, like some records or the rest of the league going off or whatever it is. Let me know, because I'll be more than happy to help you guys out and try to spiff up the content a little bit on these more repeated videos where you're just going season after season, kind of just doing whatever it is you do. Puka Nacua will once again start for us. Specialist, he should already be starting the slot. We grab Alvin Kamara, who's now starting. Byron and Stevens actually coming off the edge. I didn't actually see that coming. And Kobe Turner will continue to just rush up the middle. John Johnson, superstar X Factor now. I don't know how that's happening. But other than that, your John Ryan's here, I guess. Is that his name, right? Is Jake. I knew it the whole time. I was testing you guys. We're going to just make sure you can be a little bit more of an accurate passer towards our star receivers and see if he can put the season together for them. We'll see you guys at mid-season. And, you know, what sort of numbers this Rams team can put up along with their record. Just needs to improve. Everything just needs to improve about this team. It looked like really good that first step in that rebuild, that first year, that first offseason. They did a lot of positive moves, and then after that kind of slowed down. They're kind of just staying at a certain point right now where they're not progressing in the rebuild. 2-5 again. Not fun, not good to deal with. Jake Ryan starts off hot. A lot of interceptions, but hot. Alvin Kamara has been our best running back so far, with Ryan's not slacking off too far, and it looks like Kyron Williams is actually gone. He said, "Deuces, homies, I'm out of here." Jeremy Cooper, the wide receiver, got 3 white receivers here. I don't know how common that is. Anyways, way off the tracks here. Puka Nacua, 40 catches, 521 yards, probably the most touchdowns we've seen at the midseason point for him. Maybe ties one of the times, but Puka has found the end zone pretty early. I'm not even going to check on defense or anything further, as I've seen all I need to see. And we are doing good in the passing game once again, and our defense really has minorly improved, really hasn't done a whole lot. Went to the playoffs, like I said, if we can flip certain things around, we have a chance at a wild card spot. If not, we're pretty much stuck in a rut and losing record again. So this season, I think we get a little bit better. We were worse last year. 3-14, not bad at all. We are progressing in the right way. Jake Ryan's not, I mean, he was a lot better down the stretch this time around than he was last year. So just making minor improvements year by year. Alvin Kamara, Puka Nacua over 1,400 yards, up to an 88 overall. You guys can look at all this. His release still hasn't gotten any better. Spec catch, deep route. I mean, they're basically just upgrading slot because it's what he's best at. Puka, so far, like I mentioned, just hasn't gone under that 1,000-yard threshold. And then we'll look at his contract here. So he did re-sign this season. Good to see. He, just extends his contract for the next 4 years or through the next 4 years, and he's going to be earning quite the paychecks. He'll finally get that one going. Puka drafted 5th round compensation pick and 3 Pro Bowls since then. Offensive Players of the Week awards, NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So honestly, wait, what's different between these? Oh, just multiple times, just different weeks. Okay. I thought it was like saying 8 times and then 13 times in his career. I was like, hang on, what? We already have a Super Bowl rematch from a couple years back in week number 1, but that's not the point. We are here to check over the rest of the team, and Puka comes the best receiver on the team by a mile. And then now that we have the best overall, we'll have KJ Osborne in our best interest now as a wide receiver 2 instead of Cooper Kupp, with superstar development running back. Curious where he got drafted to the point where we can already see his dev trait, and the fact that if we got him in whatever, how could he be auto-generated if we got him in like free agency? I don't know, probably an undrafted guy. And wow, Wilson's actually okay. Bobby, not Bobby, who's that guy that we had, the other guy, not Bobby Brown, Kobe Turner. He's off and doing his own thing, but we have a superstar development 65 overall rush defensive tackle. Stevens, Young, Wilson, Alshire is now here to help the team. Jack Jones comes over from the Patriots. Hopefully he didn't bring too much extra through the airport, just a little something to show there. But 73 overall, Xavier Wilson, I'd have to guess. DJ Reed, a solid ass corner, another solid corner on the other side of him. Yeah, I don't know. Backhanded comment to Jack Jones. I do not apologize. We'll move on to the midseason. See what sort of stats this team could put up. I didn't even check if Puka was in the slot. I'm not too worried about it. I think he'd still break 1,000 either way. Okay, maybe I got a little worried. I'm gonna go make sure he's in the slot, and still just not there. There he is. Okay, so yeah, he's in the slot. I knew that. I wasn't worried. Finally, we are 4-3. We have a winning season. We are actually the top of our division to this point in the season for possibly the first time ever. And it's Jake Ryan's doing his best. Matt Stafford impressions, 1,700 yards, 10 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Maybe has a few more interceptions if he is. Matt Stafford rushing game really hasn't improved, and Puka really has improved. 53 receptions, 643 yards, 7 touchdowns. He's gonna be the greatest wide receiver of all time after all said and done. Like, this is insane stuff here. TFLs, our defense doing a good job keeping up, and I'm kind of bummed to see Byron Young doing as poor as he's doing. And our defense has finally started to pull around. They are the 14th overall in points per game and doing specifically well against the pass. Offensive points per game, we are just about midway, but we have a really good passing offense as well. So we're good at stopping the pass and passing the football. Will that be enough to propel us towards the playoffs? We'll see. It is not. We finish with only 2 more wins on the season, going 6-11. Not ideal at all. Jake Ryan finishes the season the best he's done so far, closing up on that 3,900 mark, going for 20 touchdowns and only 8 interceptions. Yeah, okay. Get my words right now. Julian Howard, 3.5 per carry on 266 carries. Not good enough to propel him over 1,000. But Puka and KJ Osborne nearing 1,000, but Puka over 1,000, pretty fairly over it. 106 catches, 1,300 yards, 1,300 and about 50, and 11 touchdowns in that double-digit mark. And I want to see sack production here. Leslie Stevens has been great since coming over here, and Byron Young kind of lackluster. So moving on to just yet another season. Puka's only getting better. He is a wide receiver 1 officially in those 90 overall stages. Only 27 years old, 5 years in the NFL, working on his 6th coming up here. And we can look at his ratings, and it's really, really good. And I still don't think he's dropped under 1,000 yards. First thing to mention, he's got 2 years left on his deal, and then he might, end up changing teams when he's a little bit older in that realm. I think he'd be around 29, 30. Maybe he wants to change up here. And then, yes, he still has not dipped under. Didn't even go to the right tab there. Hasn't even dipped under 1,000 yards. He got close one year, But other than that, been pretty safe. So we'll see if he could follow that up this year. Yeah, Puka might not want to stay here. I don't know what his interest would be, but I can guarantee you no player's interest is to go 0-7 unless they're the dirty type that is trying to, you know, tank. Who would do that? That's so bad. Jake Ryans, after a good season, he is back to sucking. It looks like rookie quarterback or young quarterback. This is his 4th year, so not quite a rookie type, but young quarterback seems to be struggling, and that's going to lead to struggles for Puka, who hopefully can extend his streak over 1,000. And it would be a bummer to go out this way, or I guess stop the streak this way. He wouldn't really go out this way. We're going to go to the playoffs, see if he can finish off the season, see if he can break that 1,000-yard mark that he needs to. We need it to happen. Oh, it's not looking good. Offensive passing yards a game, 188 yards passing a game. That's not good at all. We had the last offense in general. 2-15 was our final record. Jake Ryans, 3,175 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 13 interceptions. Howard was fine, actually, at 3.7 per carry. Is not bad. Puka, over 1,000 yards, goes for 1,123. So 1-1-2-3. 8 touchdowns on 85 receptions. Good to see that for sure. Puka is, wow, playing with a bunch of morale against him here, but looks good. Still continuing to churn on, and you stack on those 1,000-yard seasons. Puka's last year in LA, or possibly on this contract unless he gets extended, which, I mean, I wouldn't say it's highly probable, but I'd probably bet on that happening. I think it'd be the majority of percentage of happening, whatever that means. You got a good team around him. I didn't even generate the best lineup. So he's got a good team around him. New wide receivers stepping up and doing well. Defensively, though, things could be better for sure. They've done a good job flipping it, though. And Marco Wilson's here now. It's kind of like a seasoned veteran at this point, right? So, yeah, you can look around. You have pieces you like, but it's still kind of average in some spaces, and probably places you don't really want to be average on, like the defensive line. You got one guy on there that could really change a game for you. And I mean, not even change the game, just be a force. So we'll just head to the midseason. Last one. Puka's eligible for an extension, and I will be looking at that first thing probably once we get to the midseason point. Puka has yet to sign his extension through 2030, and then maybe add on a couple years after that. But 28-year-old receiver, probably entering his prime as he's up to a 92 overall. He'll have to do his best Cooper Kupp impression to really carry this team. But so far they are 1-5, and I don't even need to check the stats. The quarterback is averaging, what do we got here? 218 yards a game, and Puka's at 522 yards, so on pace for over 1,000 yards already, which is a great sign, and it keeps me at ease. So you guys are probably wondering why I sound a little different. It's the next day, and allergies are going around. I did not get a good sleep. A bunch of components go into it here. But I'll check if Puka has got himself an extension. I'd really like to see him stay with this Rams team the whole time. But I don't think it's really up to me, is it? So we'll see what Puka did. If he extended, will he be on his way? He's up over 1,000 yards this season, though, so that's always great. He is not extended yet, so he might be on his way out. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some breaking news in LA. There is no Puka Nacua to be found. You gotta be, like, this guy is literally Devontae Adams 2.0. You don't just head to the Raiders when things get bad. That's how things get worse. I am highly against this move here for the seasoned veteran Puka Nacua, who is far into his career. Holy shit, Josh Jacobs has got to be 36 by now. What is going on? I forgot, he's actually still generally young in real life. 85 speed. How is he still gaining yardage? That's insane. Got a good counterpart now as well. Tutu Atwell is a Raider and past that 80 overall mark. That's kind of, oh no, he's not, 79 overall. Colton Miller's still here. Tyler Biadasz. I know people call him Biadasz or Biadish. Like, I've heard so many different things to call him. L. Scott, defensively, I'm sure Max Crosby still here. Tyree Wilson has developed so well. Jartavius Martin out of one of the Washingtons. Was it State? Washington? Oh, it was Illinois. Shit. Yeah, he was Sidney Brown's teammate. I'm thinking of another guy. But we have quite the offense here. I think that'll do well. Maybe Desmond Ridder isn't the guy, but we'll have to see how this team does. I don't really think that I don't know if I'll change the playbooks. I think we'll see how they're doing at midseason mark, and then we'll gauge it off that. Never mind, they're an Atlanta playbook just because Henry Brock is a former Atlanta coach, I guess. So he comes over, he brings Desmond Ridder along with him, and that'll force me to change this for sure. Okay, I made it all better. We have good playbooks on. Let's get her rolling. I'll see if I have to do something at midseason too that might shake things up a little bit, but Puka needs that 1,000-yard streak, and I'm not going to let that fall with the Raiders because, I mean, if anyone was going to do it, it's probably going to be the Raiders. We start off 2-4 despite having an 88 overall defense, and that's not even good for... Okay, we have really good defensive passing yards a game and defensive rush yards a game. We aren't allowing a whole lot, but defensively, we are like letting up too many points a game. On average, it's 18, and our offense is middle of the road as well. Go ahead and check the stats and awards around the league. Desmond Ridder, 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns, only 6 interceptions. Joshua Jacobs over here. Actually, Desmond Ridder's running really well, but Jacobs averaging 4, and Puka, I mean, dude, get him the freaking ball. He is your guy. You need Puka to get the ball. That's all I got to say. I know he's in the slot. It doesn't really work with what I'm doing, so I'm going to go change playbooks. I was on Minnesota offense, and I will make sure to change that now because they have like someone else in the slot over there at Minnesota. I think it might actually be Jordan Addison, and so he's basically getting the Jordan Addison role despite being in that wide receiver 1 spot because he's playing in the slot. It's really complicated. It'd take a big brain. I know some of you guys don't really have that. No offense though, Let's try Miami's playbook. I'm basically just whiffing the 1,000-yard streak if this doesn't really work out. But if it does, we could see huge numbers. That's why I'm not going to do it. I'm too scared to lose that streak. I'm going to need to go try to find his former team. Where did he play? It was the Rams. We actually finished 9-8, and that's the best Puka's done in a long time. So good to see Jordan Love actually led the league in passing yards. Go Jordan Love. Packers fan, by the way. Desmond Ridder had a great season. 3,900 yards, 32 touchdowns. 14 interceptions, quite a bit. Josh Jacobs was still stellar despite having 85 speed. Puka Nacua, 100 receptions, 1,231 yards, 11 touchdowns, another great season, and the streak continues. Puka Nacua is taking the league by storm. Mike Evans, who? If you guys don't know what I'm referring to, Mike Evans has the longest streak in the NFL. I don't know if it's history, but it's definitely current, where he has 1,000-yard receiving seasons, and Puka is probably on his way to doing just that, but not what I'm here to comment on. Puka Nacua, I didn't even check his deal. He could be gone. He could be on another team right here after this offseason. It could honestly be changed. Memento of truth. I'm pretty sure it's a multiple-year deal for Puka. He's still at 92 overall, sweet spot up to 30 years old as he is headed into his 9th year in the league. Stats and contracts. Let's go check those out. So yeah, 1,200 yards. Just still insane numbers here. This is what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years straight of just straight up. Oh wow, he signed a big deal. He's going to be here for the rest of his career, huh? Puka, who knows how long he'll be playing, but for the rest of his prime, he'll be a Raider for sure. Switch to Miami playbook. We'll try it out to the midseason. If I don't think it's working out, then we will just take it off and go back to Los Angeles Rams. But we'll see the results, and Puka in his 2nd year with the Raiders, a little bit more chemistry, a little bit more time with the offense, and we'll see how that results at the midseason. 3-4 at the midseason mark, and they're going to highlight Trenton Simpson, a Raider now. Interesting. Greg Fitzsimmons actually takes over as the quarterback. 1,700 yards, pretty much. 10 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Quite a bit on the interceptions. Jacobs isn't running the ball as okay, yeah, Puka going crazy. Just 38 catches. Goes for 600 yards. That's 15.7 on average with Aaron Hartman. Why is this white receiving core a thing? What is going on? 7 touchdowns for Puka. He's absolutely killing it right now. Defensively, Trenton Simpson is leading the team in tackles by a fair margin. 10 TFLs for Crosby, and then 5 sacks for him. We didn't finish 8-9, and this is the first time we've sniffed the playoffs in a long time. That's actually pretty bizarre. Greg Fitzsimmons finishes the season with 3,800 yards, 23 touchdowns, only 16 interceptions. I don't like that. Puka still finishes with 1,400 yards, 1,451 to be specific, with 16 touchdowns. This might be a career year for him. What is going on here? I didn't realize that you could get much better than that. He's up to a 93 overall now, 30 years old, and he's only getting better. We'll go to his stats and contracts here and see the career stats. Is this his highest yardage season? It is by just a few yards, like 30, but highest touchdowns as well. He ties his best season with the Rams as well. So yeah, probably the career year for Puka Nacua. This late into a career, the stud 30-year-old out of BYU, still continuing that streak, continuing dominating, and becoming the wide receiver of the league, if you will. He has been quite good, even though, like, you think about it. Oh boy, I forgot we made the playoffs. You think about it, Mike Evans has been doing and dominating what he's been doing for so long, and no one cares. It's like just kind of an unspoken thing that he's good, but like no one really gives him the recognition, in my opinion, that he deserves. All right, so I mean, Puka better be getting that if this ever happened in real life, but fortunately it's a simulation. Not this much bizarre shit goes on in the average, decade of football. Quite a few things go on, but we actually made it past the wild card. We're in the division against a 15-2 Jets team. Say bye-bye. We're not winning. What did I tell you? We're packing our bags and leaving. 2031 season recap actually has Jahmyr Gibbs winning that Super Bowl MVP. I don't know why I just started doing this, but Micah Parsons will look at Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know, like, should I do that every time? Just look at the recap and kind of go over things as the season moves on. Like I said, there's probably things we could do to make these more exciting, but till then, we'll just be simulating to next year, and then mid-season, and then playoffs, and then next season, and then playoff, and then missing. It goes on. Some of you guys are into the draft or whatever. I know some people that watch me or just like in the football community kind of stay involved with college football and just draft it in general. So who called Puka Nacua being good? I would like to say I liked him coming out of college, but I didn't think he was going to be anything like this. I thought he'd be like a 4th or 3rd round pick at best if teams really thought that he fit the scheme. Ends up being a 5th round pick to the Los Angeles Rams, comes out and absolutely starts to kill it. Obviously, a lot of it is getting schemed up to be open and, just all that good stuff. So honestly, I think that he's been good so far, and he can sniff out, zone, whatever it is. He's been really good. Despite the scheme, I think that as a receiver in the National Football League, he's been spectacular through the first 4 games and whatever. So, who's going to be our quarterback? It is Greg Fitzsimmons. It looks like we brought him back. Stoutmeyer, Jackson, and Puka make our receiving core. Pretty good offensive line. Harper can step up and play center for us, and then we'll have this guy right here, Horan, who's actually starting fullback. Defensively, a lot of players to go around. Tyree Wilson kind of take over that Max Crosby role, as Max Crosby is no longer here. 2 superstar X Factor safeties, a superstar corner with Hobbs and Ballmer over here, and a superstar on the defensive line. So we're looking good. Headed into year, I believe, number 3 with the Raiders. We'll move on. Midseason mark, we're 2-4. Stats and awards here would have Greg Fitzsimmons at just over 1,000. Well off pace for anything insane. Receiving, shit, Puka Nacua. This might be it, boys. Might be gone. The streak could be done. Looking here at the depth chart, Puka is number 1 on the receiving and then slot receiver. So I don't know what's going on. But if he has any chance of coming back, I think that we better stick with this this Miami team's offense, because no one else can like really explode. And then we go to anything else, he might just get like 700 yards, which might barely cut it. But I'd rather go for like the home run. Let's see if he can bring it back. If he loses this streak, I'm gonna lose it. Oh shit. Passing yards a game really is not leading us in the right belief. So 3,231 yards, 24 touchdowns, only 8 interceptions. Good season there from our quarterback. Wayne Duncan, 3.5 per carries. Not horrible, but definitely could be better. Puka, no! Literally 21 yards off. 21. No way, dude. How do you let this freaking happen? Give him all the touches in the last game if you need to. This does not need to happen. This does not need to happen. Puka loses the streak. You gotta be shitting me. Why? Puka didn't deserve this. If I'm Puka, I'm throwing hands with the offensive coordinator. Ah, damn it. Now we got Posey in here. You gotta be like, we can't be setting up Puka worse. I told you, the Raiders was not the move here, and he's down to a 91 overall, starting to regress, 32 years old. Speed's moving down. This could get ugly really fast here with the Raiders. First, he goes for like 9 straight seasons with 1,000 yards, and then you head to the Raiders, you barely cut by, then you have an explosive season, and then you lose the streak. It's just the Raiders effect. Cam Posey comes out, throws for 1,400 yards, 9 interceptions, is expected to only 9 touchdowns. Rushing, Wayne Duncan's not good. Puka is on track for a lot of yards, up almost 16 yards per catch. He's helping the young quarterback Cam Posey out quite a bit. But in my opinion, not worth it. Not worth it at all. Honestly, I would request a trade the second I lost that record. You know, I wouldn't even go to the Raiders in the first place. This thing sucks. Whoa. I was going to say this thing freaking sucks, but I was going to use the real F word, but then I held back. Finishing the season 6-11, and they're going to highlight Puka Nacua. Let Puka Nacua cook. That's what I've been saying. 7 receptions, 138 yards to close out the season. It looks like what a time for him. Cam Posey throws for 3,650 yards, 21 touchdowns, 20 interceptions. Quite a few interceptions, if you ask me. Puka goes for 1,269. That's 16.3 on average. 9 touchdowns. Puka killing it right now. Just can't really find the way out of the Las Vegas franchise. In fact, I think this is his career year, or not career, his last year on his deal. Does he come back? Does he retire? Shit, I wanted to do something beforehand. I'm gonna check the like record books and stuff like that. And no Puka Nacua here on the receiving list here. Season, maybe we can go find him. Receiving yards here, it's Cooper Kupp, but no sign of Puka here either. So he hasn't really stamped anything in the record books for receiving yards, and nothing through the touchdown, receiving touchdown thing as well. So Puka really hasn't stamped his card in yet. Maybe gives him a little extra motivation to stick around. We'll see. He has a decision to make here, I believe. Like I said, it's his contract year. Maybe he moves on from the Raiders. Maybe he goes to another team. Maybe he freaking retires. Maybe he reunites with the Rams. You never know. And we'll see what the result is. And Puka is actually worse than the receiving threat Jackson here, 86 overall. And Puka's down to an 85. I don't know how I feel about that. That's not ideal for sure. Down to... what was that, 88 speed? Not bueno, no bueno. But we'll check his contract here. Another 3 years with this bullshit team. Are you joking, Puka? You need to know when to get out. It's time to get out. Oh my, here we go. 1-6. It's this whole cycle over. Puka can't catch a break, man. He's been on one team that's done well, maybe two. But receiving here, Puka up over 440 yards. Nice to see. I don't know. We're on pace for something good with Puka, but the rest of the team kind of stinks. Stats and awards. Cam Posey, 23rd in the league, and still really hasn't fixed his interception to touchdown ratio. That's ratio, and you can't really stick with a 70 overall quarterback if he's even up to that at this point. But Puka goes for 15.5 per reception for 1,144 yards, 74 touchdowns. 10 receiving, or wait, did I say, what am I talking about? Okay, 74 receptions, 1,144 yards, 10 touchdowns. You guys happy? I said it right this time. Jesus. We got freaking Meredith and Posey now, and wow, Puka is down to an 80 overall. He's getting hit hard with the regression right here. Specialist, making sure Puka's still there. I'll keep him in the wide receiver 2 spot. It's just not right to hold Jackson back, as he's probably a bit younger. So I don't know. I like this team as much as the next guy, but I just don't really see how we really have a chance here with a 73 overall quarterback. Sure, we have Bijan Robinson, 89 overall, 30-something-year-old Bijan, all right? He's not who he used to be. Sure, he's still good as hell, but I don't know. Maybe I retract that last statement. He could be good. And the Cleveland going back to their old ways. Las Vegas goes 3-4 to start this season. They're gonna, you know, highlight the good old, what in the world? Oh, sorry, I'm watching a show right now. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. Honestly, this thing is falling apart. Receiving though, Richard Jackson. Puka's off pace, but Richard Jackson's really taking the range. I don't really care about Richard Jackson, I'm gonna be honest. So I'm gonna put Puka back in that wide receiver 1 spot because it's just not fun seeing anybody else up there. Finishing the season now, Cam Posey, 3,582 yards, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Rushing, Bijan was still very, very good. Receiving, Puka finally takes over 18 yards a catch. That's insane. 8 touchdowns, leads the team. Oh my Lanta. What a season, Puka Nacua. I guess I should say, what a last half of the season. And no more Puka Nacua. Puka Nacua squeaks his way onto the all-time career receiving yards right here with wow, CeeDee Lamb. Holy, Jerry Rice like numbers is insane from CeeDee Lamb. Maybe I should have ran the Cowboys playbook. What is going on? Puka, 16,000 yards. That's good for, what is that, like 6th? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6th. So Puka Nacua does a good job there. But yeah, that'll be the career sim. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, go ahead and consider leaving a like, go down, subscribe, go watch any of the past content. I'll make sure to guarantee you guys that you'll enjoy it, because all the videos are probably better than this one, I'm gonna be honest. But that'll be all. Deuces.